Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me in this new kind of event that I try to make here. In this live series, we will try using AI to build stuff with Java. And we all know that AI today is so important, it represents the future, and somehow I think it's part of what our work will represent soon. And when I say soon, I mean in the really near future, because I know now there are some doubts about licensing, maybe some doubts about how to use the tool, who should use this tool, but at some point we will as developers make use of AI, and I promise you it will not replace us, or that will not happen very soon, but instead it will help us enhance our productivity. In this live series I want to see how much does ChatGPT enhance my productivity. I want to understand, it's an experiment. I want to understand whether it's more for junior developers or for senior developers or for both, how much it helps one or the other, and so on. So that there are so many questions I would like to find out, but experimenting hands-on, see how would this help me when I'm writing code. So what I want to do is try to implement as much as possible using ChatGPT, and potentially without writing code, or at least almost at all not writing code. So this is this episode and the whole series that I will hopefully finally create all about. So you will help me. Thank you very much for being here with me today. If you are here live, you have a live chat, so you can leave your comments, suggestions in the live chat. If you are not watching the event live, use the comment section. Find me also on Twitter and LinkedIn. And I would say let's get started. So what I planned for today is start simple. I would like to start with something that I know how to do myself. So in this case, I would like to use ChatGPT, although I could have done everything by myself without any help from anyone, either from an AI, from a person, or from Stack Overflow, Google, and so on. I want to simply create a Spring Boot app with an endpoint that puts some data in a table in a database. That's something that clearly I know how to do by heart without any help. But I will use ChatGPT only today. I want to see if it can do all this for me completely, like entirely. So can ChatGPT help me solve this problem, and how much would I need to know upfront? How should that be done to help ChatGPT understand how to write the code in a clean way? Would this tool help me write a clean application, a performant one, or it will simply just help me write a functional application? Because all of these questions, depending on their answer, you might know if this tool is now profitable or not, and for whom. Because you see, if you pay $20 per month, I think that's what I paid here for ChatGPT. If you pay $20 per month, but as a developer it makes you at least 20% more efficient, then it's a really profitable tool for an organization. Again, taking aside all the problems with licensing, let's say those are solved, and you buy licenses for your developers, and let's say it makes them 20% more efficient, then it's a great improvement. It's, in terms of money, it's a lot, because you pay $20 but you gain thousands. I don't know, it depends on the developer. However, if the efficiency is driven into writing non-maintainable code, then I don't think we can calculate so easily anymore, because even though I write my code faster, if I make it less maintainable or not so performant, then an application might not be usable for so long, and then it's much more difficult to calculate the profitability, and it might even be that instead of being profitable, you end up being less profitable. So I want to find out the answers, and I want you to help me find out all these answers, and we will see. Also, maybe we can find some patterns on how to use ChatGPT. Maybe we can do that, how to properly use it in real world as developers to build stuff. Now I will mostly use GPT 3.5 because GPT 4 I see here it only has a capacity of 25 messages in 3 hours. So I'm not sure if that would be enough. Maybe we will try both of them at some point. But let's start today with GPT 3.5. And again, I want to build a Spring Boot application with a table in a database. I want to store employees' details, and I want an endpoint to allow me, let's say for the moment, store an employee, put an employee in the database. So, hey, can you help me build a Spring Boot app that stores employee details in a MySQL database? So I will try to be in this case specific. I would consider that in a real world scenario, you anyway know what kind of technology is used. So I don't want to push in having the AI tool understanding what I'm going to use. I really want to provide the details like I would be in a real world scenario. So in my case, I know which are the technologies, I know what I want to do, I want the steps to do that, and then I want to literally have ChatGPT writing the code for me. And let's see if we really manage to do that. So no, I didn't switch to GPT-4. So the reason, let me cut it to make sure. The reason I didn't switch to GPT-4 is because it allows me 25 messages in 3 hours only. So I want to start first with GPT 3.5 because I have no limitation. And maybe later I will try the GPT-4 as well. Okay, so let me try with this one first. So I want to build a Spring Boot app that stores employee details in a MySQL database. I want to use Spring Data JPA, so I really know what I want to use in this case, and I want a REST endpoint that I can call to store the employee details. Which steps should I follow? So maybe first I can ask GPT about the steps. So, oh my god, a lot of steps. Wow. So I will see if I can follow the steps, but I still want ChatGPT to write the code for me. So it says, okay, step 1, set up your development environment. Wow, it starts from setting up the development environment. This is crazy. I will consider that I'm a developer, so I already have my development environment here. So let's see. I can skip over this. I have my SQL. Everything is in place. So let me forward this experiment step over step 1, and then create a new Spring Boot project. Open your IDE and create a new Spring Boot project. I will follow that. So I'm opening my IDE and say new project. Oh, let me actually try with my ultimate version of IntelliJ. So IntelliJ. So this is funny. My Windows doesn't want to cooperate with me. Doesn't want to search for IntelliJ for some reason. Maybe I can find it here. Okay. How do I find IntelliJ without having to search for IntelliJ? Okay, I think I found it. Cool. So I will open my IDE, and then I will simply create the Spring Boot project as written here. Till it's open, let's see. Make sure to include the necessary dependencies: Spring Web, Spring Data, and MySQL connector. And I have to ask, how do I do that? How do I do this? Okay, because say I don't know. I know how to create my project, is new project, but I don't know how to create that. Okay, locate the POM XML file. So it already if I'm someone who doesn't know what that is, I might be disrupted. So the tool didn't tell me, hey, you can do this with the initializer. No, it told me that I should add this directly. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow the exactly what it says. So yeah, let's wait IntelliJ to start. I should have started the right one before the live, but it's too late now. And then I will simply try exactly that. So this is from another demonstration of mine. So let me create a new project and then see. While it's loading, see, I want to go a bit through your questions or comments just to make sure I don't skip anything essential. So with Spring Boot and Angular. With Spring Boot, definitely. Angular, no. We can try to do that. Like I can try to use ChatGPT to see if it can help me with Angular, for example. Because again, guys, I'm not a front-end developer. I don't know front-end, and I will not learn front-end because it's not something I like. Sorry for that. The only thing I can do is try to see if ChatGPT can help me with that. That could be an idea. And then I initialize. Okay, I will give it a name. So let's call it GPT episode 1, example 1. Okay. And I will simply create a project because it didn't tell me that I should add this with the initializer. So I'm just creating this. I will start this as a new project. Damn, it's a Gradle again. So these guys just made Gradle to be the default, and that really bothers me a lot. So it really bothers me a lot. So I'm gonna do what I do always. I'm gonna delete it, and then I'm gonna create the Maven one because I don't want to work with Gradle, honestly. So GPT E1, I will call this one X1 from example 1 anyway because it was a mistake here, and then I'm clicking on Maven. That's what I like to use, Maven, not Gradle. Okay, so Java, Maven, and next, and create. So I'm pretty sure I will soon run into difficulties with this ChatGPT because assuming I don't know how to do the stuff, I'm not really sure what will happen. Let me see here in the Maven when I created this, load as Maven project because it's a Maven project. And wait a bit, and then I want to see if I follow step by step what it says. I don't like front-end stuff, but you have to write it at your job. Why? I mean, you are a software developer, you can choose your technologies. Okay, so come on, just be a little bit faster, IntelliJ, please. And then, because the thing I want to see, so I have this run Spring Boot application, looks fine. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to do exactly what it does. Say here for me. So pom-pom XML inside dependency section, add the following. So for Spring Web, copy code. Okay. I'm going to do that exactly what's telling me. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do that, and the last one. Okay, finally. So I did exactly what it told me. And then it says your IDE should automatically download the required dependencies in your project. If it doesn't, you can manually trigger Maven update. So yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Let's say that in this case, I know how to trigger Maven update. It's either from here or right click as you saw me and reload project. And then I need to see which were the steps initially. So it says define the employee entity. Okay, create a new Java class, class called employee to represent the employee entity. And I'm gonna say, can you do this? And let's see what it actually generates. Oh, it generates the entity directly. So it says entity, employee, generated value. I don't like ID, name, email, department. I see it just took some attributes, but let's say in my case they are different. So I want my employee to have the following details: ID, name, address. So let's say this is also just put it like this. Okay, it updated everything. Okay, it actually looks good. And can I say maybe, can I use this with Lombok as well? Yes. So make sure you have Lombok properly configured in your project, including necessary ID. Okay, fine. How do I do this? Okay, so it tells me everything I need to know, whether I have either Maven or Gradle. Fine enough for me. So it tells me, hey, take this dependency and put it in your POM XML, no? Okay, so I will do that. So here I have a first problem that I know how to solve, but I'm pretty sure ChatGPT won't know. So let me see if ChatGPT already knows how to solve this problem. I'm very curious, because these are everything I copied. I copied exactly from what is said, but this dependency is not correct. It's not correct anymore, at least not with Spring Boot 3. So I'm kind of sure that it might not know that this MySQL changed in between. So then I will have to ask it. I have this error. So no, it didn't help. So look at this. Look at this. At this moment, if I would be someone who doesn't know what the issue is, I'm pretty sure I will be in the totally wrong direction. So the problem is, guys, here that MySQL changed. So the reality is that the solution for this one is that instead of using this dependency, I should use this dependency actually. It's something that I know as a developer. So see, still a difference between being a developer and using a tool. So this is one black point for ChatGPT for a junior, because at this moment I don't even know how long it would take me if I follow its advice here, how long it would take me to do all these 4 steps and then realize it's still not working. And I'm pretty curious if I say it's still not working, because I promise you can follow it, it will not work. Will it give me another solution? Nope, the same solution. So this is the same solution. It just added a version here. It's stuck. So at this moment it's stuck. Okay, I will forgive you, ChatGPT, no problem. But one black point, because if you are a junior developer, I'm pretty sure at this moment you might have been in trouble for a long time. Okay, I'm gonna just use my solution, which was instantaneous, and I'm gonna sync, and now you can see that everything is synced. So let's say I stepped over this problem and now I have this Spring Boot application in place. What do I do next? So I'm gonna go back to my ChatGPT and try to see which was the next step he suggested. So I was at the employee. No, so the last thing I did was the employee, and it created my employee and it added the data annotation. This is a problem. Not now. I will use it as is because again, I don't want to write code. I will make it as minimal as possible writing the code. But using the data annotation with entities is an anti-pattern. So you should not do that. Remember not to do that in a real world app. Write yourself the toString, the equals and the hash code. Remember that with, especially with toString, you can get into Stack Overflow issues in case you use that. So okay, now I'm gonna create the employee, but I don't know where to write the employee. So I don't know where to write the employee class. So let's ask him, where should I create the employee class? Okay, so typically it's com model, so it asks me create a package model. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so let me create again. I'm not a totally dumb. I simulate here that I'm kind of a junior, so I don't know a lot of things, but I know how to create a class in the package. Okay, so that's fine. I'm just asking where exactly, and okay, fun enough. I'm pretty sure now ChatGPT will not know how to help me against, because the problem here is, I think you guessed if you have seen my latest videos, that I should have used Jakarta and not JavaX. But let's see what ChatGPT says, if it knows or not, because I think it doesn't know. So I would ask in that case, why are these dependencies not found? Okay, that is interesting, because to resolve it, it says I should add this dependency in my POM XML file. But the funny thing is that it uses Jakarta as well. So even if I copy this, it will still not work. No, because it's still Jakarta. Or it says once you've added the JPA and refresh your project, okay. So it tells me, hey, use no JavaX. No, it will still not work because I'm using Jakarta persistence, and it asks me to use JavaX. So again, one more dark. So let me actually write it on a paper. I want to write on a paper. So it's one black. So this is the not okay, and this is the okay, and I already have 1, 2 not okays, especially for juniors, because if you don't know these things, I would have already spent much more time than it would have been needed. No, so then I will in this case manually solve it myself, because I know how to solve this. But I'm a little bit disappointed, because I would have expected ChatGPT help me a little bit more. And again, I can actually mark this data as a third black point. Okay, so at the moment, as a junior, I think I would be really disturbed whether I would be helped or not, because I think it would have been easier to up to now read one of my chapters from Spring Start here, and I think it would have been a little bit better. But yeah, let's find out what happens next. What should I do? I'm going back to my steps here. So I created the entity, and then the next thing I should do is create a repository interface. Okay, so how do I do this? So let's see. Okay, it gave me the import, it gave me the class. I'm gonna copy it, so I'm gonna go back, and it tells me where should I put it. It doesn't tell me where should I place it. No, so and where should I place this interface? So it tells me, hey, create a repository package. Okay, fine enough. So let me do that. So I'm gonna, but remember that, see, I have to ask the question. What if I didn't know that I have to ask the question? That's not the point. So at this moment, I'm starting to feel that as a very junior developer, I would not be able to create this project. So as a beginner, knowing very little about Spring Boot and all the technologies, I don't think ChatGPT would have helped me. No, I think it would have actually taken me more time and frustration up to now, because I helped him or her, I don't know. I helped it quite a few times already when I knew the solution. So I, as a senior developer, I might have been quite helped because I knew I need to put everything in a different package. I knew I need to add a different dependency there. I knew I need to use Jakarta instead of JavaX. I knew a lot of things and I used them. And of course, for the rest, I might have been helped by copying stuff that I didn't have to write myself. And probably if I would start from scratch and I will like change the scenario and consider myself a little bit more experienced and not very down below, now I might have solved this maybe faster than if I would have have to type it myself. But I feel that you need to know what you have to do. You really, it's not enough just to know that you start from the technologies. You need to know that for Spring Data JPA, you need to create the entity. You need to know all those stuff. ChatGPT provided me with the details, but it got stuck in a few points. And in those points, if I didn't know myself the answer, then I would have been stuck even now, no? So anyway, let's see, repositories. And then I will create the class they suggest, which is named employee repository. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna create employee repository, and I'm importing this class and this interface, and then I have to continue, no? And then I have to continue. And I'm curious about. I see it's a lot of messages, so let me read your opinions, because I love reading your opinions. So, why avoid Gradle? Any particular reason? No particular reason. I just prefer for my examples Maven because it's usually understood by the majority. In one of the next videos, I might use Gradle just for the fun. But for me, the two tools are identical in terms of performance. Okay, so I've seen them both and I use them both, and I have nothing against one or another. Sorry if it looked like I have. It's just for this particular example where I have no. Now, okay, and then another, they have made Gradle default. Yes, I know, it's 10 years ago they did that. Just want to ask a question. Is it mandatory to learn Zen patterns? That's a unrelated question, but yes, I would say yes, it's mandatory. Okay, it doesn't use Lombok. Okay, but we used it. And it's not familiar with Spring Boot 3. Actually, the problem is that I know this tool. My feeling is that the data it's been trained with is older, so I put it quite in some difficulty using Spring Boot 3, because Spring Boot 3 has been released like when, in November last year, so it's half a year ago, so it's quite recent. So I don't think ChatGPT knows about it. It might have been a different thing if I would have tried to do this with Spring Boot 2 point something. We can try that as well, but then the question comes, then should I adapt my technologies according to the AI tool? I don't think that one would really want to do that, no? So it went right. Okay, ask ChatGPT 4. Okay, that's a point. I would be curious because I don't use GPT-4. I told you the reason why I don't use GPT-4, but I only have 25, and then it doesn't have the context anymore. So I'm not sure how to ask GPT-4, but I could try that if you really want. But let's finish our exercise, and in the next episodes we can do that more than this. Okay. In case Stack Overflow would be better, can you explain the issue with data? So the issue with data is that when you have when you have bidirectional relationships in entities, which usually have, the data will create you to strings that will grab you into Stack Overflows. I can try that in a separate video if you want. You can try that as well. Just create a couple of entities, a bidirectional relationship among them, and you will see the problem when you use it, when you use one entity or the other. Okay. Send that to their team for updating engine. Anyway, whatever I write now, it's still I'm still training the AI tool. No, so it only solves easy problems. I'm not even sure if it's easy. We can try next time some algorithms. I'm pretty curious. It's something that I might fail as well at. So next time I might try see whether it can help me write an algorithm that I can't write myself, and then I will maybe succeed, maybe fail, I don't care, but I will see if it can. So I'm not sure the difficulty for the moment. Let's see exactly. It would be more better to ask a senior dev, maybe, but think it the other way around. Could it be a benefit to have ChatGPT and the junior, if they really are helped in a minimal way by ChatGPT, to spare the time of a senior? In that case, this might be a pattern for enhancing productivity with AI. No, how instead of having your junior trained by a senior that much time, you spare some of the senior's time by having the majority of the problem solved through ChatGPT. And if that's the case, then you are profitable. Now, the point is the junior developer should be smart enough to go to the senior guy when they run into a problem that they can't solve with ChatGPT. So but that can be very late, no? Because if they already stayed a couple of hours trying the steps that ChatGPT suggested and they don't solve the problem, then what is exactly the border of productivity? And how often would a junior developer encounter such problems? See, this is a lot of things to digest to find out what is the rate of productivity added by kind of such an AI tool to the team. Very interesting, and maybe we will discover more about it. Okay, so let me actually try going even further. So where were I here? So I created the repository. And I'm now going back. I'm going back to the steps, and then I'm create a controller. Now the question is, where is the service? So it doesn't ask me create a service. It asks me create a controller and inject it directly the repository in the controller, which makes me curious on where will it ask me to add the transactional annotation. Will I use transactions or not? Anyway, I will follow the steps, but I'm already driving here into an anti-pattern again, because you can't add business logic in the controller, or at least not in a real world application. Okay, so let me try to do this. How do I do this step? Okay, see, and again I have to ask it where should I put the controller. So where should I add the controller? And then it tells me, see, employee controller. So let me actually do that. Okay. Controller. And then I will create the employee controller. And I'm gonna take it this way. And it gave me a post mapping, auto wiring on fields. Very interesting. So I will prefer not keeping it like this, but I will copy it first the way it gave it to me. Okay, I'm gonna import everything. I will leave even the comments here, and I will tell that IntelliJ says field injection is not recommended. So let's see what GPT says when I say IntelliJ tells me field injection is not recommended. I missed a letter there, but I think it will understand. You are correct. Not me. I think this time IntelliJ is correct. Okay. Is it necessary to add the constructor if I use Lombok? Okay, finally. So I had to persuade it to run into a version that looks a little bit better. No, so I had to persuade it. It started from here. Not even. It started from here, auto wiring on the field, and then I had to tell a GPT that IntelliJ gives me a warning. He agreed, or it agreed, and it created me a version without Lombok. And then I had to ask explicitly, hey, can I do that with Lombok? And then it created me a version with Lombok. Okay, so it really is a tool. You know, you have to really know what to ask when you and my feeling is that you have to have need to have the skills. Now that my feeling that I have now is you have to have the skills of a code reviewer. So, okay, maybe you don't write the code yourself. It's like you order someone writing the code, and you have to review it. Is that more efficient than writing the code? I guess maybe it depends, because for this example, definitely the way I took it now, it's a no, as I would have definitely have finished that myself long time ago if I would have not used GPT. But again, my experiment today started from I'm a junior. So whether it was a junior or not, maybe we can invite a junior in one of the next episodes and see what they think about it. If they can do that with ChatGPT, it would be a good experiment as well. So I'm pretty sure I will find a lot of things to put on the table here and experiment in the next episodes with you guys. But I think that with this we might find what exactly means working with an AI tool as a developer. And I, as a developer, what should I do? Which are the patterns and which are the anti-patterns? That is the real question. That will make me the most efficient with an AI tool and more valuable for an organization. No, that's what I want to get out of this playlist in the end. So is it bad to add transaction at the endpoint? It's unusual. It's unusual because the transaction should wrap the use case, and the use case should not be at the interface level. At the endpoint, it's an interface, not with another application. So that's why we have set the service layer. So in this case, the way it created it, it's not really okay. It will work, but it's not okay. It's not something that I would have written in a real world application. Okay, so maybe even better. Let's try to see which is the next step. So we created. I will leave it the way it's generated, because again, this is not about me writing the application the correct way. It's just figuring out how to make ChatGPT write the application the correct way by giving it the least hints possible. So and then I will try to use it as a senior. Maybe next time I'll try using it as a senior, see if I can get more use of it. And I have to configure database properties. So again, how do I do this step? Let's see what it says. So I need to use this step. Oh my god, it gave me, okay, it gave me some driver, username, password, database name. Quite enough for me, I would say, to be able to do that. It also gave me some dialect. I will basically, and then it sets my DDL auto update, and I wanna say that now, I because I know what it is. Imagine if I didn't. I'm not sure what happened, but what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna actually just put my details here, so I have a demo database, and then I would wanna say I want to create the table manually and not using this. Okay, so it took out the property, that's fine, but it didn't give me the script. So then the next thing I want to ask ChatGPT is, can you write me the DDL script to create this table? Okay, so it looks like a good script. So I'm gonna go here and try to run it. Okay, so I'm already connected to my database. Okay, I think I can do it like this, but I might need to put this in front. And let's see if the table has been created. Okay, so the script seemed to have been all right. And then maybe I should ask GPT later if I want to use Flyway, what should I do that, or maybe next time we can try to be a little bit more professional, and instead of considering we are juniors using, we consider we are seniors using that, and see if I know a little bit more than just that. I can try to do it the other way around. Instead of starting as a junior from asking how to do that and then following the steps, I can consider I already know the steps, and then I just ask properly in the right order the steps. And I think we will see if that is an enhancement in the way things are working. And then I want to see if there is anything else I should do in terms of the steps that GPT suggested me. So 6 was the last step, okay? So now I need to see if it's starting, because that's theoretically what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start the application and see if it's starting. I'm quite curious. I just copied the code exactly as is. And it started. Okay, expected, because in the end we had everything in place. So what's wrong with this? I think a few points are wrong. This one should not be here. And then of course we should have had a service layer. And yeah, we can see, but I need to use it. So I want to I want to see if ChatGPT knows to create me a CURL script to test my endpoint. Can you give me a CURL script to test my endpoint? And it gives me this. So I'm gonna copy it into a console. Okay. And it returned me the details. It's a 200 OK from what I see. The reason it returned me the details is because that's the way the controller has been created. And then if we go to the database, we should see that John Doe is there, so it's working. So it's working from this point of view. As a minimal working application, I think we can say we managed to create it. But then I want to test a little bit more ChatGPT, and I want to say in some projects I saw there is also a service. Do I need a service as well in this application? So I really want to read what's saying. In the comments, okay, the service area acts as an intermediary between the controller and deposit. It's okay, but why it's missing the why? And cast the business logic, okay, that's fine. So it's providing separation of concerns. Excellent. So that's why it was missing. And then I can be really rude. First of all, because it anyway didn't use Lombok, but I would ask why didn't you suggest me a service from the beginning? Why did I have to ask for a service and you didn't suggest it? Okay, it's on various factors, the complexity. So what GPT says here to apologize is, I thought you are writing a very simple example. I wasn't aware you are writing a real application. So I think that's what it says. And can you also make that service with Lombok? Okay, and finally it gave me the service with Lombok. And then I have to ask, how does the controller changes in that case? And then it gives me again, but without Lombok. Okay, let me first of all create the service, and then say employee service, and I'm pasting exactly and then I'm gonna say you give me the last controller version with Lombok. Okay, finally. So again, I had to ask myself. And then I'm gonna replace the controller. Fine. Fine enough. I'm gonna test again. So I'm gonna test again if it's working with another employee. Jane Smith. Okay, so now it's Jane. Now, so I started, or still waiting for this to get started. But my feeling is that I already started to think like a senior developer. See, I didn't follow the steps anymore, because now I ended up with a kind of working application, not sure how correct that is. I'm still missing the transactional. ChatGPT said nothing about transactional. I can again go and tell ChatGPT, hey, where is that transactional? Probably it will apologize and give me the transactional, but it wouldn't have worked for a junior. No, it wouldn't have worked for a junior developer. So it already feels for me that it's still the real point where it becomes useful is somewhere above the junior level. So it's not for juniors. If you will let a junior alone, and by junior I mean one that it's not independent yet, okay, probably will not be able to end up, might end up with a working app, but might as well get stuck, because you have seen a few times I had to come myself with the knowledge. Thirdly, or secondly, I'm not sure, it will probably come up with a solution that is not okay from certain points of view, like architectural design, maybe missing a transaction. So you still have to know all these things before. So my feeling is, and I will try to prove it in the next episode, that as a senior developer you can get more efficient, or not even senior, maybe intermediate, but already knowing what you have to do. But if you don't know what you have to do, it's working more like, in my experience, working more like a proof of concept, that you can get like a university-like project, that one that we were creating in the faculty, didn't have to be like clean and stuff like that, because you will anyway throw it at the garbage bin right after you finished it. But for a real world application, it doesn't really feel it's working. Okay, let me paste again this. So it looked it work, okay, and then I can see again if it's working. So we have Jane. Fine. I still have 9 minutes, so I want to end up with only one thing. I want to secure this app. I want the endpoint to be called only by users having the role admin. How can I do that? Yeah, so remember, I'm still a junior and I don't know how to do that. Okay, it suggested me Spring Security. Now I will not go into writing this anymore, because you can see that it already gave me some old piece of data. This one will not work anyway. The class web security configure data doesn't exist anymore in Spring Boot 3. So it's clear that we will have to deal with having older data that ChatGPT has been trained with. Maybe GPT-4 would have known, I don't know. So maybe I can end up by asking GPT-4, which, by the way, see, I don't know how to do, because I don't seem to have the buttons anymore. Anyway, next time I will. But clearly this one doesn't work now. So clearly no. I wouldn't say this is a fault. So I'd like to give ChatGPT a chance. And I would like to consider that it has updated data. So maybe one of the experiments we should do is also in terms of considering what if it would have updated data. Would it have been more helpful in that case? Because maybe it's unfair. It's not its reason that it didn't have been trained yet with all the needed data, no? And maybe in the future it will be. Maybe in the future we'll have a GPT that is it has all the data it needs, like instantaneously. And in that case, maybe everything that we consider today doesn't apply anymore. So yeah, clearly the Spring Security configuration here would have worked only for Spring Boot 2.7. It will not work for 3. but yeah, I don't want to think necessarily as this as being a fault of GPT. Okay, quite an experiment for today. So I would like to stop today, and I want to think about other subjects. I want to think about other experiments for the next episodes. And I will ask for your suggestion as well. What would you like me to experiment with ChatGPT in one of the next episodes? Do you want to try to rewrite an application, Java application with Kotlin, for example? Should we try to use different technologies? Should we try to use Gradle instead of Maven? Should we try to think about it and give me suggestions? Because I would really want to try it and make as many experiments as possible. And at the end, I want to draw a conclusion of which are the patterns and which are the anti-patterns of using ChatGPT as a Java developer. I think this is really valuable stuff that we would be able to use in the end if we know how to use it. What exactly and for whom this AI tool is. So, GPT-4 I understood. I will try that one as well. Again, I started with GPT-3 for the reason I told you about, but maybe it should be that. And okay, I see no other questions. So if no other questions, anyway, I hope you liked the experiment for today, and I hope it's a good start to understand more about this kind of tools, and I want to continue that. So please help me with that. Leave your opinions in the comment section. Thank you very much for all of you who have been here with me today, of course, and I try to read your comments, and I'll try to take everything into consideration in the next episodes as well. But again, please help me and leave your messages in the comment section, and also find me on Twitter and LinkedIn if you want, and let's try to figure out what working with ChatGPT means as a software developer. And if we finish everything with ChatGPT, maybe the next would be some other tool like Tab9, for example, or Copilot or something else. Let's find out together that. Until then, and until next time we meet, I will wave goodbye and tell you thank you very much again for being here. Thank you very much for watching me, and have an excellent time for learning further. Cheers, guys.